Welcome to the Han Dynasty, a remarkable era in Chinese history that lasted from 206 BCE to 220 CE. Often regarded as a golden age, this period was defined by significant advancements in governance, culture, technology, and trade, following the tumultuous rule of the Qin dynasty. The Han established a centralized imperial government. This era saw the birth of a bureaucratic system that allowed for effective governance over vast territories. The Han Dynasty was instrumental in creating a meritocratic bureaucracy. Civil service examinations emphasized talent and education, setting a precedent that would influence Chinese governance for centuries. The economy of the Han Dynasty experienced remarkable growth and transformation, laying the foundation for the prosperity that characterized this golden age of Chinese history. Central to this economic flourishing were significant agricultural innovations and strategic state interventions. One of the most critical advancements was the introduction of iron tools. The widespread use of iron plows allowed farmers to cultivate land more effectively, improving soil aeration and increasing the efficiency of planting and harvesting. These tools replaced less effective wooden implements, significantly enhancing agricultural productivity. Iron tools were a game changer for Han agriculture. Not only did they facilitate deeper tilling of the soil, but they also allowed for the cultivation of previously unarable land. This increased the overall agricultural output, supporting a growing population. In addition to the use of iron tools, the Han Dynasty saw significant improvements in irrigation techniques. The government invested in large-scale irrigation projects, constructing canals and reservoirs that enabled water to be transported efficiently to agricultural fields. This strategic management of water resources helped ensure consistent crop yields, even in times of drought. The Han state's focus on agriculture was rooted in Confucian philosophy, which emphasized the importance of farming as the foundation of a stable society. The government actively promoted agricultural best practices and provided subsidies to farmers, fostering an environment where agricultural productivity could thrive. As agricultural output increased, so too did trade. The Han Dynasty established a sophisticated network of trade routes, most notably the Silk Road, which connected China with distant markets in Central Asia and beyond. This enabled the exchange of goods, including silk, spices, and agricultural products, facilitating not just economic growth, but cultural exchanges as well. Trade during the Han was vibrant and dynamic. We would transport silk and other goods to far-off lands, exchanging them for valuable resources like horses and precious metals. This not only enriched individual merchants, but also contributed to the state's wealth. The Han government also established monopolies over key resources, including salt and iron. By controlling the production and distribution of these vital commodities, the state was able to regulate prices and ensure a steady supply. This not only provided significant revenue for the treasury, but also helped stabilize the economy amidst fluctuating market conditions. The state monopolies allowed the Han government to fund infrastructure projects and military campaigns. By controlling essential goods, they could manage economic fluctuations and maintain social order, ensuring that vital resources remained accessible to the populace. One of the most significant achievements of the Han Dynasty was the expansion of the Silk Road, a complex network of trade routes that not only transformed commerce, but also facilitated a profound exchange of ideas, cultures, and technologies between East and West. The origins of the Silk Road can be traced back to earlier trade routes, but it was during the Han Dynasty, particularly under Emperor Wu, 141 to 87 BCE, that these routes were officially expanded and integrated into a cohesive network. The Han Emperor sought to establish strong diplomatic relations and trade links with Central Asian kingdoms, which were critical for both economic prosperity and security. Emperor Wu's reign marked a pivotal moment for the Silk Road. He dispatched envoys, including Zhang Qian, to explore and establish diplomatic ties with the West. These missions opened up new routes and facilitated trade with regions such as the Parthian Empire and eventually the Roman Empire. As the Han extended their influence into Central Asia, the Silk Road became a vital artery for the exchange of goods. Silk, a luxurious fabric produced exclusively in China, became the hallmark of this trade network. It was highly sought after in the West and was often referred to as the fabric of the gods. Silk was just the beginning. Along the Silk Road, we traded spices, precious metals, textiles, and even livestock. Each caravan brought not just goods but stories and knowledge from distant lands. Key cities along the Silk Road, such as Samarkand and Bokhara, became bustling trade hubs where merchants from different cultures would converge. These cities facilitated not only the exchange of goods, but also the mingling of diverse cultures, fostering a rich tapestry of interactions. The Silk Road was more than just a commercial route. It was a conduit for cultural exchange. Ideas such as Buddhism, which traveled from India to China, and later technologies like papermaking and gunpowder, found their way along these routes, transforming societies. Buddhism, in particular, made significant inroads into China via the Silk Road during the Han Dynasty. As merchants and monks traveled along the trade routes, they spread Buddhist teachings, leading to the establishment of monasteries and influencing Chinese culture, art, and philosophy. In addition to religious and cultural exchanges, the Silk Road facilitated the transfer of technology and knowledge. Innovations such as papermaking, which originated in China, eventually spread to the West, revolutionizing communication and record-keeping. The trade wasn't one-sided. The Han received valuable goods in return. Items like glassware, precious stones, and horses were brought to China, enriching the Han economy and culture. The Silk Road also played a crucial role in diplomacy. As trade flourished, so did relationships between different empires and kingdoms. The exchange of goods was often accompanied by diplomatic missions, fostering alliances and enhancing political stability across regions. The legacy of the Silk Road extends beyond the Han Dynasty. It laid the groundwork for future trade networks and cultural exchanges that would shape the history of Asia and Europe for centuries to come. The connections forged during this time highlight the importance of intercultural dialogue and the shared human experience. Literature thrived, with works like Records of the Grand Historian by Sima Qian setting new standards for historical writing. The emphasis on Confucian values permeated education and governance. Innovation marked this era. The invention of paper revolutionized communication, while Zhang Heng's seismograph was a remarkable leap in understanding natural phenomena. The Han Dynasty is renowned for its exquisite arts and crafts. From intricate pottery to luxurious silk textiles, the artistic endeavors of this period reflected both sophistication and cultural values. Cultural festivals, many of which are celebrated today, gained prominence during the Han. These events fostered community and reinforced cultural identity. While the Han Dynasty is often viewed as patriarchal, women played crucial roles in family and economic life, with some wielding considerable influence in politics. Advancements in science during the Han were significant. The works of physicians like Zhang Zhongjing laid the groundwork for what we now call traditional Chinese medicine. Despite its achievements, the Han Dynasty faced internal strife, corruption, and external pressures, leading to its collapse in 220 CE. Yet its legacy endures. The Han Dynasty, which ruled from 206 BCE to 220 CE, was pivotal in shaping the political and philosophical landscape of China. The concepts of centralized governance and Confucian ideals that emerged during this period would echo throughout Chinese history, profoundly influencing the identity and structure of the nation. Centralized governance was a hallmark of the Han Dynasty. Building upon the foundations laid by the Qin Dynasty, the Han emperors developed an efficient bureaucratic system that allowed for effective rule over a vast and diverse territory. This system emphasized the importance of a centralized authority while incorporating a merit-driven approach to governance. The Han Dynasty established a complex bureaucracy staffed by officials selected through examinations and recommendations, rather than solely through aristocratic lineage. This meritocratic system aimed to ensure that the most capable individuals were placed in positions of power, which was revolutionary for its time. At the heart of Han governance was Confucianism, a philosophy that emphasized moral integrity, social harmony, and hierarchical relationships. Confucian ideals became the state ideology, guiding not only political governance, but also social conduct and family values. Confucius championed the idea of run or benevolence, suggesting that rulers should lead by example and govern with kindness. This laid the groundwork for a government that prioritized the welfare of its people, fostering a sense of loyalty and duty among citizens. The Han Dynasty invested heavily in education based on Confucian teachings. The establishment of state-sponsored schools trained scholars who would serve in the government, ensuring that Confucian ideals permeated all levels of society. This educational system created a cultural elite that would perpetuate these values for generations. The emphasis on education and moral integrity influenced Chinese society for centuries. Even today, the value placed on education and respect for authority can be traced back to the teachings that flourished during the Han Dynasty. Confucianism also shaped family structures and social relationships. The concepts of filial piety, respect for elders, and the importance of family loyalty became ingrained in Chinese culture, creating a societal framework that valued harmony and stability. The centrality of family and social hierarchy in Chinese culture is a direct reflection of Confucian ideals. These principles have remained influential in various aspects of life, from family dynamics to business practices, shaping the identity of the Chinese people. The impact of Han governance and Confucian principles did not end with the dynasty itself. Subsequent dynasties, including the Tang, Song, and Ming, adopted and adapted these concepts, reinforcing a political culture based on centralized authority and Confucian values. Through centuries, the idea of a centralized state governed by scholar officials became a defining characteristic of Chinese political identity. Even during times of upheaval, the longing for a return to Confucian governance echoed throughout Chinese history, influencing reforms and revolutions. Today, the legacy of the Han Dynasty's centralized governance and Confucian ideals continues to resonate in modern China. Join us as we continue to explore the rich tapestry of Chinese history, where the echoes of the Han Dynasty still resonate today.